What's up, everyone? It's your boy, Stump, and I'm not going to waste your time today. I'm going to teach you how to get more kills in critical ops. But first, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on so that way you don't miss any more tips and tricks videos like this one. And don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video or if you thought this video was helpful. And comment down below what other tips and tricks you would like me to show you guys. So without further ado, let's get into it. So before I start, there's 3 key things that can help you get more kills in critical ops, and that is your movement, your positioning, and your aim. And I'm going to give you 3 tips for each category, starting with movement. Stop moving while shooting. I know, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Moving while shooting creates movement and accuracy. And if I go into my settings here, enable crosshair arms, and show movement and shooting accuracy, that's better. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, while I'm moving, the crosshair spreads out, which means you're going to be inaccurate. But when I let go, I become instantly accurate. So if I'm moving, and I stop moving, you can see the difference. Which leads me to my second tip, strafe during your gunfights. So let's say you have an opponent right here. I'm going to turn off my crosshair.
But Stump, you already told us to stop moving while shooting. Why are you telling us to move while we're in gunfights?
Well, here's the thing. You don't want to be spraying the whole time during your gunfight because that's just going to waste bullets. What you want to do is instead shoot a burst, strafe, and then shoot a burst. So that way you're making yourself a harder target to hit, especially at longer ranges. Like this range right here, you could get away with just like spraying a little bit longer. But at longer distances like this, you want to incorporate a couple crouches into it as well. Because strafing during a gunfight makes you a harder target to hit for your opponent. Because if you just stand there and shoot the whole time, you're just making yourself a sitting duck. Plus, if your opponent goes around a corner, you can reposition yourself slightly to throw their aim off that much more. And the last tip, learn how to walk. I've seen a lot of players walking like this, crouched. If you're walking upright, you're a lot faster. And to make your character walk, I'm going to go into my control settings to show you this. The movement pad right here, you can notice this outer circle right here. Pushing your joystick all the way up makes you run. Keeping it in this inner circle here makes your character walk. You see that? It's kind of like using a joystick on a controller. You push it up slightly, you get little movement, and if you push it all the way forward, you get the fastest movement possible. And while you're walking like this, you're actually faster than if you're crouch walking. And if you have your knife equipped, you are at your fastest walking speed. And it works in every direction. And by doing this, you're able to lurk quicker, walk like this, get behind enemy lines faster, and be able to take them out without them noticing. It will really screw up their timing if you walk. Also, walking helps when trying to clear angles that you know a player is at. So let's say there's a player right here. I don't want to be running like this and then swing him like that because he's just going to hear me, if he's sounding, running through intel, swing him, and he's just going to hit me off a sound. If I'm walking the entire time, and I'm walking like this, he's not going to know when I'm going to swing him. And when I get close enough, bam, he's dead. All right, those are the 3 tips for movement. Let's move on to positioning. So the first tip in positioning is going to be to play in a position that makes you a harder target to hit. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you stand out in the open like this, you're a pretty easy target. You're a sitting duck. To make yourself a harder target to hit by either covering up part of your player model by using cover, or using distance. By standing farther away, you're a smaller target to hit. It's not as easy to hit you. However, this position right here that I showed you is what's called a head glitch, where only your head is visible to your opponent, but more of your opponent's player model is visible to them. And this right here is an example of a head glitch, as well as here, using this. There's also another one where you're sitting right here. Get this angle. And then you also have this angle kind of right here, where you can hold this position like this. However, these head glitches are what we call common angles, which is where a lot of players like to sit to get those easy kills. Because using a head glitch will get you easy kills, but they're also overused a lot. So the second tip that I want to give you guys is to play in a position where your opponent will not expect you. So in short, don't play the same angle more than once per round. So if you're always playing this angle right here, you're always trying to hit this angle right here, they're going to expect you here, and they're going to take you out easier. They're going to pre-fire you every single time if you keep playing this angle every time. So instead of playing this angle every single round, you can switch it up. Instead of playing that angle, you can play right here behind this bush. Or you could play behind this truck right here, like this, or like this. You can even play by these boxes right here, play like this, or like this. Just changing your position every so often, every other round, is going to help you become more unpredictable to your opponent. Because if you're playing a predictable position, then it's just going to be very easy for them. You're making it easier for them. And tip number 3 for positioning, which pertains more to the breach or aggressive coalition pushes, is when you are peaking an angle, you want to put as much distance between you and the cover you're swinging from. Let's take this angle, for example, right here. I'm standing right here. I can peek out. I'm moving about the same distance every time. I can hit this every single time. But if I move the same distance, but I'm closer to the wall right here, you can see I'm not swinging out. That's because the further you are away from hard cover, the sooner you'll be able to see your opponent. So let's say I'm peeking this and my opponent is holding this, like this. Because I'm so close to the corner here, I'm sticking out more compared to what my opponent sees. So I'm sitting right here. Like half of my player model is visible behind this box, if you can imagine that. I'll be able to see him before he sees me. Also, when peeking and strafing during gunfights, I forgot to mention this. Strafe perpendicular to the angle because you're the fastest when moving straight left or right. All right, those are all my tips for positioning. Now let's get into the aiming tips. And now you're probably thinking I'm going to tell you to start aiming at headshot level. And while that is true, there is also something you can do to help you with that. And that is using landmarks, which is the first tip. You can use landmarks on the different maps to allow you to line up with headshot level. And this planter right here is a great example. I use this planter a lot. It's actually the first thing that I actually used as a landmark to find headshot level. And right around this bush area towards the top is where enemy player's head is going to be. By using that landmark and visualizing that planter right where you're looking at, you can use that to line up your headshot level. And now headshot level is a bit tricky because what if you're on an elevated position like this? Well, then headshot level's not going to be right here. It's going to be down lower because headshot level is not a 2D line. It's a 3D plane with volume. So if you're above headshot level, the area in which headshot level is possible becomes much greater. So you need to be able to understand that headshot level here is different from headshot level right here. It's going to be a little bit higher. Same thing goes for when you're below headshot level. It could be right here, or it could be right here. Now, for my second tip, I have said that aim is made up 95% crosshair placement. I've also said positioning, but positioning doesn't really help with aim at all. It just helps with getting more kills. That's why I'm making this video. So while it's important to have your crosshair placement at headshot level, you need to place your crosshair where enemies can come from or can be. And this goes for both the breach and coalition. You don't want to be aiming right here when you're on SOAR because players aren't going to be coming from there exactly. They're going to be coming from here first. So placing your crosshair here will help you line up your crosshair with where players are going to be potentially coming from. And this works with every map. Like, for example, players on the breach could come from right here, and players could come from right here. You always want to be looking in the direction where the opponent could be coming from. And the last tip I have for aiming is to aim off of corners while holding an angle. The reason you want to be doing this is because if you have your crosshair right here and your opponent wide swings you, then you have to adjust your aim to be able to flick to your target. And some of you don't have the ability to flick this small of a distance with precision or accuracy. Plus, by the time they swing out, they already have their crosshair right around where you're standing. So if you try to flick to them, they're going to be shooting at you. So having your crosshair off the wall like this will help with your reaction time in seeing a player swinging, and they'll walk right into your crosshair. And you're probably thinking, oh, this only works for the coalition. It doesn't work for the breach. Hello? You can hold your crosshair right here, anticipating the swing of the coalition if they do decide to try and swing you while you're pushing. But when you're rounding a corner, you can place your crosshair right on the corner and be ready for when you see an opponent. So let's say right here. Again, that's a common angle because it only exposes your head. And you can wide swing this. You just need to be able to know what position you're swinging it into and what your crosshair placement is going to look like. Now, sometimes your aim won't be exact. You'll need to adjust. But having your crosshair on the corner while slow peeking an angle like this will allow you to clear all the uncommon angles, especially if you're far enough away from the corner. You be able to see the opponent, be able to react to them quicker. And now it's time for a bonus tip, or I should say a bonus aim training regimen that I'm going to be sharing with you that I have been using recently that has really been helping my aim, and I have seen massive improvement with it. So what you want to do is you want to get into the training grounds right here. And the first thing you're going to do once you get in here is you're going to select a team, doesn't matter, but you're going to want to grab a deagle. So you're going to grab a deagle, and you're going to immediately start running to the target practice. So that way you can go ahead and get started with your aim training as soon as possible, because you're going to be doing what I call 2-minute drills. So for the first 2 minutes, you're going to start aiming slowly placing your crosshair on your target like this. It does not matter if your line is straight, just make sure you're getting your crosshair to your target. There's no rush. Just do this for 2 minutes. This is what I call slow aiming, short spacing. So you're going to spend 2 minutes slow aiming with short spacing. And then once your 2 minutes are up, you're going to do what I call twitch aiming. So what you're going to do is you're going to aim quick, about halfway off, and then slowly bring your crosshair to the target. And what it's going to look like is it's going to be one smooth motion. Sometimes you'll aim directly on the target. Sometimes you won't. That's fine. Just make sure you readjust your aim. But make sure you try not to overshoot your aim. And remember, we're focusing on the twitch. And you also want to make sure it's a continuation. You're not stopping, then slowly aiming. You're twitching and then continuing to go. And then once you do that for 2 minutes, then you're going to move up to these 3 targets up here. And you're going to do the same twitch aiming for 2 minutes, but between these 3 targets only. So it's going to look something like this. This will help with precision aiming, and also you want to focus on continuing the flow of the movement. So you twitch, and then you continue slowly. And then once you're done with that for 2 minutes, then you're going to move on to wide spacing. So it's going to be this target right here, and this target right here. And you're going to do the same twitch aiming as before. You want to try to get as close as possible. And you're going to do this for 2 minutes while also maintaining the smoothness before. And once you're done with that for 2 minutes, or roughly 2 minutes, then you're going to come over to this buy station and you're going to buy an M4. And you're going to come into here and we're going to do 1 minute recoil training. So basically for the first 30 seconds of the minute, you're going to focus on the first 10 bullets of each weapon. So we're going to go through the M4, AK, SG, and AUG. So M4, first 10 bullets. It looks like that. And then after the first 30 seconds of doing that, we're going to control it. It doesn't have to be exact. You could get between 9, 10, 11 bullets. It's fine. And you're going to switch to the AK at that buy station. And then you're going to control the first 10 bullets of the AK. All right, do that for 30 seconds. And then you're going to control the recoil for 30 seconds. Then you're going to move on to the SG. Study the recoil for 30 seconds. And then you're going to control the recoil for 30 seconds. And then for the AUG, now because the AUG spread after the first couple of bullets is not as good as the other weapons, you're going to focus on the first 4 bullets for the AUG. The AUG is really good for long-range gunfights, so learning the first 4 bullets is really good. So you're going to learn the first 4 bullets of the AUG, and then you're going to control the first 4 bullets. And after you're done with that, you're good to start playing deathmatch. And that is how you can start getting more kills in Critical Ops. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all learned something today. And if you made it this far, then please leave a like, as it really helps the channel. And also don't forget to subscribe with notifications turned on, so that way you don't miss another tips and tricks video like this one, or any other videos if you're interested. And don't forget to comment down below what other tips and tricks you'd like me to show you. So again, thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay safe. Bye-bye.